is poised to import 300 million ounces of silver this year. That's a massive amount of silver.
Yeah.
And when you realize that we've seen a 75% drawdown in the last 18 months of the silver stockpile in the registered category on the COMEX to 33 million ounces. It was 140 million ounces at the beginning of silver squeeze. And now here we are at 33 million ounces, nearly 1/10 of what what India is going to import in the year 2022. The price setting mechanism of the world, really of the West, has 33 million ounces, and yet we're seeing India import that much every single month or more. We're seeing record drawdowns off of the London Metals Exchanges we've talked about, to the lowest level of inventory since they've ever started keeping records. This is a 140-year-old exchange. We're seeing SLV being drained by the authorized participants, on top of being shorted tremendously. There's a huge short position on SLV, drive down the price and then pull out the physical silver. The whole thing is the whole ecosystem at the top, where it's being drained by the most well-funded, well-informed, sophisticated investors in the world, is betraying the price and the rhetoric. The price says, 40-year high inflation, war, all this stuff. Yeah, it's climbed up to nearly 24 bucks. Actually, it was there yesterday. But so what? It should be a whole hell of a lot higher.
Yeah.
And gold, it should be a whole hell of a lot higher. But when we look at gold, I know you are the silver slayer, but gold is just as important in the whole scheme of things too. When we talk about gold, year to date, 673 tons have been purchased by the world's central banks, or better yet said, have been exported out of the US. That's more than on any year since 1967, and the year's not even over yet, where we'll get all the updated numbers. In the third quarter of this year, we saw 400 tons of gold exported out of the US, which is nearly double the biggest quarter on record of about 247 tons. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is that price is a tool of misdirection. We talk about this a lot, that phrase.
I love that phrase.
But think about it for a moment. If price was really indicative of demand, value, and supply, then who and why are the exchanges at the highest level? And those exchanges which get the least amount of attention by the mainstream, why are they being drained? Who has enough money to drain it? And remember, when things leave the COMEX, they lose immediate liquidity from an industrial perspective. And I talk about this a lot. Imagine Elon Musk saying to the COMEX, hey, anyone who's got 1,000-ounce bars, I'm paying a $20 an ounce premium right now. And how many people would jump at that? A lot of people would. They would transfer their metal out of the eligible category into the registered category where it could be delivered. Once it leaves the system, that's not going to happen, because to get it back into the system and reassay it takes time and an inordinate amount of effort and money. It's very bullish is what I'm getting at. The price is what we all fixate on. We buy something, we want it to go up, we want to feel like we're smart. But you have to have strong fingertips. You have to trust your gut. And we are at a point in time where we're in uncharted waters, where there's very little to gauge where we are basis where we once were.
Right.
Because we've really never been where we are right now. And you have to trust your gut. And with that sometimes comes having strong fingertips and hanging on through the ups and the downs and the counterintuitive price action and the rhetoric and being called an idiot by your family and friends. In the end, I think those who have the ability to trust their gut, to stand out on a limb against the conventional wisdom, against the crowd, when the dust settles or when all hell breaks loose, it will become very evident very quickly that you made the right decision.
Yeah, you have to understand its true value. Understanding silver's true value and understanding the dollar's true value. I think a lot of people do judge silver on its price, which price is irrelevant. You can't compare fake money to real money.
And the question being, why is it so important for the commercial banks and the central banks to suppress gold and silver? What does it represent? See, that's an investment to a lot of people, right? But to the central bankers, that's kryptonite. That is wealth that is outside the system. And so those people that look at gold and silver and see a shiny coin or whatever, that's wealth and has been wealth for a long time, remember that it is the antithesis of the health of the system. So there's a term in economics called Gibson's paradox, which speaks to the inverse relationship between real interest rates and gold. This is the reason the central banks have suppressed gold for so long, but because by suppressing interest rates, you create a perception and an illusion of prosperity. You must step on the canary in the mine shaft. That is the price of gold and silver as it relates inversely to the health of the Western system. So understand that it is in the best interest of every government to print the crap out of the money supply, but blur the metrics by which we gauge inflation and by which we gauge the health of the economy and of the system. While you can manipulate the CPI, you can get rid of numbers like M3, which when I started in this industry, M3 used to be the broadest measure of the money supply, but they stopped printing M3 because they called it an archaic number that no one looked at. But indeed it was. It showed us how much inflation was entering the system. And then they used M2. And I believe they even took M2 away. Now, I could be wrong about that, but I'm positive they got rid of M3. The point of it is that they'll lie about inflation and the CPI. They'll pull out food, energy, and housing and blur the metrics by which we gauge inflation. They'll blur the metrics by which we can gauge money creation. And they'll also step on those things that shine a light upon the frailty of the system. That is gold and silver. All of that being said, the most sophisticated, well-informed, and well-funded traders on the globe for the past 18 months have been destroying the supply by taking possession of metal off of the exchanges, and it's going away from the exchanges. It's a one-way ticket and it's never coming back. And that is what you need to see. That is the misdirection. That is what the big money is doing quietly while the majority of the people out there look at the price and just keep on walking.